this is going to be your main document. Good. Alright, so let's look at the diagram and decide what we're going to do first. This is our internet. This is the elastic load balance, ALB. Now this is what our EKS cluster is, right? Elastic Kubernetes service. Now in this we have the master and two workers. That's our plan. Worker 1, worker 2. Right. So you have the API, XCD database. Now because this is managed Kubernetes, we will not have access to this EC2 instance. That's something that we have to understand. So when we say create a cluster, it launches a EC2 instance, but it does not give us any access to this one. All that we get access to you is this API. And we will also get the kubectl or kubeconfig file. Right, so what we need to do is usually we have decided to set up another EC2 instance, right, for administration activities. So we'll call it admin instance kind of thing. This is where we will try to do everything from. So we will take the kubeconfig from this thing, put it here, and try to connect to the API and manage everything. Now to connect to the API and do everything, you're going to require kubectl. So you need to install kubectl here on our admin. Now this admin, we're going to keep it very tiny one, nano, right? So that it comes into the free type. Okay. So this is where everything happens. This is what we normally log in and try to do it. Now apart from the master, we're trying these two. So we'll try to keep it down as much as possible. Our idea is to have a traffic ingress controller here. The ingress controller that we are trying to do is traffic. That's product name. Alright. It's easy to manage and it gives a nice graphical user interface to configure it. Alright. So this is going to be our ingress control. We will see that later. Right now, the EKS cluster setup is one part. Now for this to set up yes. This simply on the traffic in this. Alright? Keep it simple. Now apart from this instance, we're also going to set up Jenkins one. This is also another EC2 instance. So here you're going to install JDK, then you're going to install Jenkins, then all the softwares we require. Now let's look at all the software that we are going to require. Jenkins is going to run the build, which means it's going to need every software it will use in those builds. Right? It pulls the code, right? Which means it needs a git command, and git. Jenkins is not doing anything in a rocket science order. Whatever you do manually, it does it automatically. Which means all the manual commands that we normally run should have software installed on the Jenkins instance. Alright? So git command should usually these things will come as plugins. We don't manually install most of the time. They come in as plugins. Maven, if our application is a Java application, then you need Docker on it because it has to run a Docker build command. The code that it's going to pull, it's going to put it inside a Docker image. Alright? Alright. So Docker build command you need. Now, after the Docker is done, the image gets pushed to a Docker hub kind of thing, and then we need Helm so that Docker Jenkins job can push it to this thing. Now there are two ways to do it. Either Helm itself can push it here as part of the Jenkins job. That's one way. Or we don't want to put Helm here, which means we are not pushing as part of the Jenkins job. Only build part we are doing. Alright? Then from here we're going to run a Helm release or Helm install command we're going to run. In this case, Helm will be here for deployment. Helm should also be here for building the chart. Jenkins job still has to build the chart, right? So Jenkins is going to do only building part, and the deploying part we may try to do it manually here. It changes from project to project, company to company, how they want to do it. Whether they want to directly do it from Jenkins or they want to do it from another controlled box. All right, we will see which one is suitable for us. Apart from this, you don't need anything else. Now, another thing is, once you have a Docker build, it goes to Docker Hub. And the Helm chart, which is a tar file in a compressed format, we're going to put it into an S3 bucket. Then we will create a S3 bucket క్లోజ్ చేశారా ఇందులో ఛార్జింగ్ ఉందా ఎన్ని పెట్టారా
I don't know, but
మనకి కదా తెలియాలి
సార్ మొబైల్ ఛార్జింగ్ పెట్టాను వస్తుంది అసలు ప్లాన్
Yeah.
You are not right to
All.
For this EC2 instance, the Jenkins server. For this traffic also, I give it to AKS.
Allow to all, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay. Give all, yeah. Yeah, that's better. You launch the first instance, then don't launch Jenkins yet. After you are done with first instance, go ahead and install AWS CLI, kubectl, then EKS and launch EKS cluster. EKS cluster launching is going to take you 15-20 minutes after you give the command. Now, while you are waiting for that to launch, you're going to set up Jenkins. All right? Follow this Atlassian document. It will set up your admin and your EKS cluster. Then we're going to come to this one. Do not launch Jenkins right now. It's not necessary. Focus on the EKS cluster first. వస్తుందా దాన్ని వచ్చి Yes.
Could you please check the plan? Is it correct or not?
That's correct.
Started that.
Yeah, let's go.
I got stuck in it.
That's okay. Planning, what happens, plan when you try to plan something, it gives you clarity. Okay, these are the steps. Then you replan it. You started with that.
I have done it. So,
That's fine.
between while attaching this client role with the instance, I'm facing issue. It's not showing me that option.
That's a manual way of doing everything. We're not going to do that. We'll simply launch using a template.
Actually, I did not put these instances in YAML file.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's your first try, so it's okay. Server refused your key. Error is pretty clear. So your key is wrong or you're connecting to the wrong server. You downloaded the key?
Yes, sir.
You have to extract the key. You got a zip file of the key? You usually got a PEM, right? How did you get a zip?
Last time we did.
Extract that zip file. I think you download it as a zip file. You know.
Last time we just download the advanced settings.
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. You have to add that PEM key. That's all. Extract it is not there.
No, not this.
It means it's already extracted. No, you're compressing it again. It's already extracted. Oh. Okay, fine. Then go back to the MobX term. Okay, SSH. Give the IP. What's the username you're giving?
We haven't given
EC2 hyphen user. You selected which one? Linux, AMI Linux 2, right? Or yeah, then EC2 hyphen user.
How will know that?
AWS documents. Each AMI has a default user. So for that user, you are giving the key. User, small, all small letters. EC2 hyphen user. Now go into advanced settings and attach the key. Government. I'll give you. I'll give you. No, file. Oh, family, right. Right? Yeah. Atlassian username password. That's Atlassian username password. This is a URL encode82.atlassian.net. The EC2 instance that you are going to launch, if you have selected Linux, Amazon Linux, or this thing, the username is going to be EC2-user. That's the default user you have to log in with, and then you attach your PEM key. For Ubuntu, the default user is going to be Ubuntu, and then you attach your PEM key. All right? The admin box is on a different AMI. The Jenkins is going to be on a different AMI. Make sure your Jenkins AMI is the correct one, Ubuntu, later, all right? Otherwise, our installation scripts are not going to work. Yes.
This access created. Actually, I did not use I am user. I directly went through the root system.
Then get the root user IAM ID, access ID. Go to the console. On the right side, you have that username, right? Top, the black bar. Right side, the username. Okay, the username, yeah, sorry. Click there, the arrow mark. You get my security credentials down. Right, come down and you will see your access key and this thing. Download those things or copy those two things. Below that multi-factor authentication, yeah, below that. Below that, access key, yeah, that one. You create one and then download it. Yeah. So start IAM user and then use that IAM user to launch our admin instance. Use that one. And you're launching EC2 instance, you get an option to select spot instance, right? There are two types or three types of instances. One are reserved instance, or even before that, on demand, and then spot. What it means is, on demand is when you click on it, it will actually launch it. You are demanding, right? Reserved is you reserve it for 1 year or 3 years. You pay upfront or half, but you are telling AWS that okay, I want this micro of 2 GB RAM for the next 1 year completely. I'm going to pay it. Now this usually comes at a 50% reduction. All right. So on demand are the costliest one. That's what normally you do. All right. Reserved ones means if a project has visibility over the next 1 or 2 years, and they know that they're going to need at least 10 instances, they can reserve all those amount of capacity. Now there is one in between. This is for kind of quick rentals kind of thing. Spot instances are instances put on auction by people who reserved them. Let's say you reserve 10 instances, all right? After a half year, 6 months, you are only using 5. Now the 5 are getting wasted, but you paid to AWS. Now what AWS allows is you can put it onto auction so that others can take it up on a temporary basis. So when these guys put it up on auction, you can purchase or temporarily take a spot instance. But the problem with spot instances is they get terminated at any point of time. But they come at almost 70% lesser cost than on demand. So what I want you to do is when you are launching your EC2 instance, all right, you get an option to select a spot instance here. If you select it, it will give you the current cost, current price. This is usually much lesser than others. Now you can give your price, bidding price. This is. Now usually you bid at the top. You are the highest bidder kind of thing. All right. And if you bid it and try to launch, it may take a minute extra, but usually you get it. Also, you can time it as per the day. Let's say Sunday morning, nobody's going to really work on spot instance.
Today is Sunday morning. The maximum load on AWS comes from US, Northeast. We are now Sunday morning. They're Saturday evening now. They are 12 hours, 10 and a half hours behind EST or PST, whatever it is. Right now we are 8 o'clock, right? So they are around 9:30 night. Saturday night, 9:30 US, nobody works. So you are going to get your spot instances. Try that. Try to beat, especially the reason why this is important is, you get into the habit of using spot instances for all your practice. That way you can actually use much bigger instances than always sticking to nano. Nano, you won't learn anything at all. Apart from that CLIs, you can't install anything. So you will reach a point where you need bigger instances. And this is a method you will get it at a much cheaper cost. But this thing, when everybody is working, if you try to get spot instances, nobody. You have to be a little proactive and less lazy to start getting it for lesser cost. So do it in early morning or sometime, right? That's when the spot instances are easily available. So you can actually try this one for one of our instances. The only thing is, you just request a spot instance and give your bidding price. I'm going to bid at the highest price. 0035 only. I'm going to bid, or let's say 6, just above it, and select the rest of the things normal. Network, network, network. Auto assign IP. This you're going to need it. Public IP so that we can access it. All right. Placement group. So these are all okay. IAM role. You can access it. I don't think I have it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Review and launch. Instance security. This is. I'm going to create a new pair. Net not working. It's working. I think it's temporary. It's working.
So we have to do the whole process again, sir.
Which one?
We did the server is one.
Which server? No, that's on AWS. You just have a browser. This is not Katacoda. You'll have your servers.
Or that was
This is gone means you are connected through MobXterm, right? Try to read it one time. Big deal. Hmm? Which one? You created a configuration? Did you create a k8 admin? You did not? Then go to the console, management console. You have to get your access key for your root user.